All right, let's get right into it. If you're a leader in this space, you've heard it a million times. Data is your biggest asset. But let's be real. For most organizations, it feels a lot more like a massive cost center, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a powerful strategy to completely flip that script. We're talking about turning your data operations from an expense into a true programmable goldmine. So let me ask you this. Right now, is your AI data a cost center or is it a gold mine? For so many, the data pipeline looks like a chaotic, incredibly expensive construction site. You're pouring money into materials and labor, collecting data, labeling it, storing it, but the final product feels unpredictable. It is absolutely time to rethink the entire blueprint.
So that brings us to section 1. Is your data a liability or an asset? Back on that digital construction site we just mentioned, the quality of your materials, your data, is absolutely everything. It literally determines the strength, reliability, and value of whatever you're building.
And here's why this is so critical. Poor data quality isn't just a small inconvenience. It is a direct threat to your AI's performance. Think about it. A low signal-to-noise ratio from bad labels, that's like trying to teach something in a deafeningly loud room. It just slows everything down. Hidden biases and data leakage, that's how you end up with models that are unfair or just plain wrong. And for complex AI systems, if you don't have a clear, traceable history for your data, debugging becomes an absolute nightmare. Really, the key takeaway is summed up perfectly right here. This quote from the source just nails it. Better samples, clearer labels, and validations you can actually verify, that combination leads directly to more efficient training. And maybe most importantly for any leader, it means way fewer expensive, embarrassing surprises when your model is out in the real world. This leads us to section 2, and a really crucial mindset shift. We need to stop thinking about data as disposable files and start treating it like a permanent asset. It's like we're moving from that chaotic construction site into a precision forensic lab, where every single piece of evidence is meticulously cataloged and valued. So, what's the first piece of evidence in our new lab? It's the sample. This is the raw data, the observation itself. It could be an image, a clip of audio, a span of text. This is the foundational what happened. Next up, we have the label. Now, this is the expert interpretation of that raw sample. This is what gives it meaning. The label says, this specific area of the image is a car, or this audio clip has a positive sentiment. It's the crucial what it means. And finally, we have validation. This is the quality control step, and you cannot skip it. Think of it as the peer review process in our forensic lab. It's a judgment call on the quality of both the sample and its label, making sure everything is accurate and trustworthy. It's what answers the question, okay, is this interpretation actually correct? Okay, so how do we bundle all this evidence into something with real value? Well, it's a 3-step process. First, each piece of work, whether it's a sample, a label, or a validation, is called an atomic contribution. Then each one gets a unique contribution fingerprint, which is basically a tamper-proof digital ID that proves who did what and when they did it. Finally, you bundle all these related pieces together into a data asset, and that right there is your smallest unit with actual commercial value. Now that we have these certified data assets, you can think of them as our high-tech data bricks, let's get to the fun part, seeing how we can build with them. Welcome to section 3, building with data bricks. This is where the real economic power starts to unlock. So check out this first scenario. Let's say you have one super high-quality, validated image of a busy street. You could bundle it with labels identifying all the cars for a self-driving AI company. Great. But then you can take that exact same image and bundle it with a different set of labels identifying storefronts and foot traffic for a retail analytics firm. You see, one sample, multiple products, multiple revenue streams. And the best part, royalties can automatically flow back to everyone who contributed to that original asset. But it gets even more sophisticated. What about complex tasks, like training a chatbot? You need to link different samples together, right? Like a question and its corresponding answer. Well, this system lets you create composite assets by bundling these different samples while perfectly preserving the links to where each piece came from. This guarantees that every single contributor gets the right attribution and their fair share of the payout. And this is really cool. You can even start layering interpretations on top of other interpretations. So imagine an expert annotator adding notes to an existing label, explaining the nuance of why they made that judgment. This meta label becomes part of the asset's permanent history,
adding even more value and creating this rich, auditable trail where everyone who adds an insight can share in the future revenue. So, what does this all add up to? Well, it brings us to Section 4, the programmable data economy. Let's really contrast the old, broken way of doing things with this powerful new model.
This chart really lays it all out. The old way? Traditional data files. They're a nightmare to track, a pain to share, and ownership is murky at best. The value is static, you use it once, and that's it. Now, look at the new way. On-chain data assets. Suddenly, everything is auditable and discoverable. Ownership isn't just clear, it's provable, and can be split fractionally. And the crucial difference? We move from static one-time value to programmable ongoing value. It's a whole new ballgame.
This whole process, which we can call assetification, unlocks some incredible advantages for your business. You get perfect provenance, an unbreakable chain of custody. You get fractional ownership, which allows tons of contributors to share in the revenue. You get programmable licensing to control access and automate royalty payments. You get smart derivation, where new assets can inherit rules from their parents. And amazingly, you can build in privacy by design, which lets you train models on sensitive data without ever exposing the raw content. Now, you're probably asking, okay, this sounds great, but what's the technology that actually makes all of this possible? How can we trust the system? And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, a foundation of trust. The secret ingredient here is blockchain. And look, this isn't just about buzzwords. It provides a public, unchangeable ledger of every single contribution and all ownership details. This minimizes the need for a central authority you have to trust. It's what allows these assets to be bundled and remixed across totally different applications while perfectly preserving their history. And it creates powerful built-in incentives. Why? Because contributors and validators automatically earn revenue when their high-quality work gets used, which perfectly aligns the incentive for quality with long-term financial value. So here's the bottom line, the big transformation. By embracing this model, you stop managing a messy, expensive, untraceable pile of files. Instead, you start building a clean, high-value, and incredibly powerful inventory of programmable assets that can drive revenue and innovation for years and years to come. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Your data is literally building the future of your entire organization. The only question left is, who holds the blueprints? Are you sticking with the chaotic, outdated on-premise process, or are you ready to finally take control and build it right?